Hey, this is Politics with Laura. I got a good one for you today. It's good, but no matter how I say it, I'm going to be crucified on both ends. So I'm just going to say it for as it is. It's not his truth, not her truth, but the truth. I believe in the truth. That's it. Now, immigration is not only a hot topic, but there's a lot of contention, especially when people come here illegally. Now, I have to say the Democrats had read the room wrong again. Democrat, look, you're losing ground left and right, and trying to adhere to any and everyone is not the way to go. Because when you okay, I'm here and then I'm over there and I'm over there and you're all over the place, and guess what? The people that you're trying to help, you leave them behind in midway, and they do not forget. People have long memories. Democrats, most politicians have short memories. They can't even remember who they screwed over. Hey, it's just what it is. Whether if you're a Republican or Democrat, Independent, Green Party, Libertarian, all of the above. You made somebody a promise and forgot because you were too busy promising somebody else something. It's just the nature of politics. But this one is quite interesting. There are 3 Republican Latinas whom are running for office, and they are making headwaves. Now, I gotta give it to Republicans. Republicans have softened their stance and leaned more into the Latin Americans' conservative side, but they loosened up the rhetoric. Now, these 3 Latinas are on the border cities and towns of Mexico. Now, my ex-husband is from Nicaragua, and one thing I do know is how conservative Latin Americans are. I'm very well versed up and down Central and South America. Not so much as Spain. It's a little different. Okay, not a little different, a lot different. In Mexico. Now, my husband came here legally, and one thing people come here legally, they do not like line jumpers, period. And I'm going to give you an example. Well, not an example, but just an understanding of what people are upset about. Now, when people come up here to the border and they're looking for help, asylum, or whatever the issue happens to be, you have a door. Sorry about that. You have a door to come in. So the door is over here. To come in, give your name so we can know who you are. No, but you want to come into the door over here. Let's say over here. And then you come in this door that no one is there to take your name or any information. And then you're like, oh, I'm here. Later, you say, I'm here. Here's the issue. You didn't come through the door that was afforded to you. That's the issue right there. Let us know who you are. Now, I know this very well. In my former, I had a job over in China. On my way over to the Chengdu area. And I was going to not only teach English, but I was going to help them with their English curriculum because the Chinese students come over here. And that's my specialty. So not only was I going to teach, but also align the curriculum, come up with a way to have the other teachers follow the plan that I was going to put down. And my main goal was to go to Beijing because that's where all the money was. I just wanted to get a foolproof plan and say, hey, I did this over there in Chengdu, in the Sichuan area, Providence, and I did this there. I can do this for you here. Not only that, I have studied the world's curriculum, so I know what can be tweaked, what can be consolidated, and what is too much of what, and take that out. I know that. I couldn't just jump on over there. I couldn't just go through a door and then say, hey, I'm here. No. China doesn't play that. No. China was like, no. You come through the door that we tell you to come through, and that's it. I respect that. Everything fell apart when President Trump came in. Ugh. Man, it got bad. It got bad. And there were teachers who went over to China illegally, and it was a diplomatic nightmare, and I wasn't getting caught up in that. So I understand what's being said. So the United States is a very, very liberal and very, very lenient. People know this. Now, when those line jumpers come through a different door and say, here I am, let's all admit, now remember the truth. I'm only giving the truth, not my truth, his truth, her truth, but the truth. Most people who come here illegally uses someone else's social security number to work, to gain some sort of access to whatever. Then they start getting a lawyer and doing everything what they need to do right, when you should have done that at the door that was afforded to you. Having said all of that, and I know I'm going to be crucified about this, but the truth is the truth. We got to deal with what is and not what should be, could be. No, deal with what is. Because I tell you this much, you won't see anyone trying to jump in line over in China. It just wouldn't happen. You wouldn't see people jump in line or line jumpers in other countries that had strict laws. You wouldn't do it because you know, if I do that, I get in trouble. All right, let's get to this article. I thought it was, I'm like, these are the people I know. The Latinas or the Latino population that come here, right, are very conservative. Okay, here we are. All right, the rise in the far left Latina. It blew me away. All right. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to pick out certain sections that I want to highlight, and I'm not going to go through the entire thing. Just certain portions of it. All right. It says, for years, Texas Republicans tried to win the Latino vote using the Bush-era brand of compassionate conservatism. The idea was that the moderates' touch and softer rhetoric on immigration were key in making inroads with Hispanic voters, particularly in Democratic stronghold area along the southern border. Now, very, very, very true. Very true. Now, when people come here, and they come here in a way that they came through the other door, they have a tendency to be Democrats. They're not Democrats. They're really Republicans or conservatives, but they vote Democrat because they feel an allegiance. Oh, well, you allowed me. Okay, I know I did wrong, but I want to thank you, and I'm going to vote Democrat. I'm telling you what I know. I know people from all over the world. From where I live in D.C., so I know people from all over the world. I know people who are illegal immigrants, people who are legal, illegal, students, any and everything. I know them, have met them. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. But but the ones that are here, come here legally, don't like it at all. But those who come here illegally are really conservatives, but they're grateful to be able to come in because they jumped the line, and they know they jumped the line. All right, let me move this up. Okay. All right. Such was the Texas of old. The Trump era has given rise to a new brand of Texas Republicans, one of whom are already walking the halls of Congress, the far-right Latina. You can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. Let me see. Right there. The far-right Latina. Representative Mayra Flores became the first Republican to represent the Rio Grande Valley in more than a century after she won a special election last month and flipped the congressional seat from blue to red. She also became the first Latina Republican sent by Texas to Congress. She abbreviated term last through the end of the year. She is seen as a long shot to win the re-election to one full term. So it's going to be very interesting. She was a long shot. I find it quite interesting. I find it really interesting. Special election, depending on how she does, and she flipped it. Because Texas has always been red. You may have certain pockets of blue, but overarching or overall, Republican. Okay. All right, her campaign slogan, God, Family, Country, was meant to appeal to what she calls the traditional values of her majority Hispanic district in the border city of Brownsville. She called for President Biden's impeachment. She tweeted Anon hashtags, and she called the Democratic Party the greatest threat America faces. You can't get any more conservative than that. You just can't. Border city, Brownsville, has an international airport there. Right there on the border. The Democrats didn't read the room well. Okay. Let me see. Let me skip down. Oh, okay. Let me skip down to here. Did I go down too far? I'm sorry. All right, here it is. All right, the other two Latina Republicans, Monica de la Cruz in McAllen, Texas, and Cassie Garcia in Laredo, Texas, are also on a ballot in a congressional race alongside the Mexican border. The three GOP officials have taken to call them the triple threat. They share right-wing views on immigration. make this stuff up. You can't. The Democrats read the room wrong. I'll say it again. Can't make this stuff up. Okay, they share the same advisors. They held campaign rallies, fundraisers together, and they have knocked on doors side by side. They accuse the Democratic Party of taking the Hispanic voters for granted and view themselves as do other supporters as the embodiment of the American dream. Flores often speaks Spanish to workers alongside her parents as a teenager in the cotton field of Texas Panhandle. Flores de la Cruz and Garcia grew up in Rio Grande Valley, a working class four-country region at the southernmost tip of Texas, where Texas makes up 93% of the population. I'm sorry, to where Hispanics make up 93% of the population. All others are bilingual. Flores was born in Tamaulipas in Mexico, and the other two, the south of Texas, only De La Cruz has been endorsed by Trump, and yet they all remain outspoken advocates for him. His movement, alongside the tough talk on restricting immigration and building a border wall. I don't need to go any further with that. Again, that Latinos are conservative, period. They don't believe in abortion, family, I mean, right on down the line. Now, you may have a certain segment of the population that are extremely liberal and everything that comes along with it. But majority of the population is very conservative, very religious, very Roman Catholic. Very true. And again, what they don't want are the line jumpers. They want them to come at the door you're supposed to come in, that was afforded to you, and they pointed, you come in here. But if you make up your own rules and you come over here, and you come through, nobody knows you, nobody sees you, and then say, oh, I'm here, no one's going for that. Namely, especially the Latino population. Matter of fact, one of my good friends is from El Salvador. Oh my goodness. She calls the line jumpers, I'm not even going to tell you what she calls them. She's like, I don't like them. I left El Salvador to get away from them. I come up here legally. I paid. It took me years to get up here. I'm here, and now you have the same people jumping over lines when I waited 8 or 9 years to come here, and I did it legally. She gets pissed, very upset, and whenever she sees the line jumpers down here in DC, she cusses them out. Woo! She lets them have it. But the Democrats read the room wrong. Being ultra liberal, saying, okay, you can come and we'll do this, this, and this, and this for you. And people are grateful, but they have conservative values. So when you think about it, do you think I'm absolutely wrong? Do you think I could have said something different? Tell me what you believe. Put something down in the comment section, and then I'll leave the article in the description box. And tell me what you think. Oh, please like, subscribe, And if you don't like it, dislike, subscribe, then dislike it, and then tell me why you didn't like my video. On that note, thank you for stopping by.